Hey friends, in what follows, I squeeze 4 days of work into less than a half an hour. It may not be exciting, but it's what's required to get our range fixed. Well, we're about to start another do-it-yourself fix-it because people won't come out to where we live. What are the joys of living off-grid in rural America? You know, we're only 20 miles from the closest town, but you know, they don't have appliance servicemen there, believe it or not. You have to go another 30 miles to Flagstaff. Or you can go 28 miles down to Chino Valley, and they have service people, but they won't come out this far. They won't go more than about 10 miles away from Chino Valley. So you don't have much of a choice. You can either pack up your 660-pound range and haul it up to Flagstaff to be repaired. Who knows how long that will take. Or you can get the manuals, took a little bit doing, and get the repair part and get to fixing. Well, I'm going to go unplug the range because even though I have the breaker turned off, I don't want to take any chances just in case there might be something wrong with my wiring. I know there isn't, but I'm going to unplug it anyway. Well, Irene and I took Irene took the door off here. I took all the insides out of the oven. And now I need to take this panel off here. The question is, do I need to take the entire top off or not? We'll find out here in a minute. I'm looking to see if there's any screws behind these knobs, and there aren't. So that's a good first indication that I might be able to pull this off without taking the entire stove apart. This does not feel promising. It looks to me like I'm going to have to take the entire top off. That's quite a job. Now the good thing is this will give us an opportunity to do a deep clean on this range.
Remember the guy having to take it apart that much?
Well, the issue is the front panel does not seem to loosen up.
Which one?
Right here with the, yeah. Yeah, I didn't think he did, but I'm not sure that he had to replace the, I know he did not replace the thermostat.
What he replaced something in there, down like in the bottom. He took the bottom out.
Yep.
And then he did something up here because he fixed the igniters. Because remember, we had igniters that don't work. The piezoelectric stuff. He also left some parts, which are floating around the house somewhere, but I never understood what they were, so that's not very helpful.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Well, it may just be that this front panel is a little bit stuck. Now I'll go ahead and finish taking the screws out and we'll give it a shot. It'd be nice if I don't have to take everything apart.
Well, I found one of the parts he left.
Oh, good.
There it is. It's Fisher Cal
Paycal, yep.
igniter.
I don't care if it's covered with catnip. The range won't care.
The range won't care. You just need to get stoned like catnip, huh? Like, well, man, I love your repairs, man. They're like, stellar.
You know, I'm always reluctant to pull on things like this because the instructions include removing the top.
Well, here's another piece. Same thing. So I have two of them. The dead rubber band.
I'll have to pull off the knobs because the knobs will be in the way of getting the panel out. There's 1, 2 screws here in the middle that'll hold the panel in place, so I need to pull those out too. And it's interesting, the serviceman did not replace a bunch of the screws.
Makes you wonder if they were there in the first place.
As Irene just said, it makes you wonder whether or not they were there in the first place. Well, let's see if this starts coming off any better. Well, I'll be taking this apart some more. Well, it's 2 days later. I finally have the range apart. I think as far as I'm going to need to take it apart. There's bits and pieces all over the place. It's quite a job to get it apart, mostly because it hasn't come apart in 15 years. Now it's still unplugged from the wall. I'm not concerned about there having any power at the wall. Maybe I'll need to go check something. I'll go switch the breaker on and be right back and do one more test. Well, I put some power back on the range and tried all the valves to see if everything was sparking. This burner right here does not have a spark. Now there's a LED here that may be part of the ignition mechanism. I'm going to go ahead and replace it. I happen to have a spare one, but if not, I have to go back in the range in the back and check out the igniter module there. I hope I don't have to do that. I've replaced that little part. It was a little tricky to get out because it has a series of connections that are slide connections and press connections. You have to be really careful when you're working with older pieces of plastic. This plastic is now, the range was made in 2007, so it's about 16 years old. We're in high altitude Arizona, which can cause some damage to plastic, so it becomes embrittled. So I had to take my time to get this out. This is the one I've taken out. I have a new one in. I'm going to go ahead and test that, see if that fixes the problem. Well, that doesn't seem to have fixed the problem, but I'm going to go ahead and replace the thermostat now because I want this range to be working. We have Thanksgiving coming up in a few days, and we need to cook. Well, you wouldn't think that a thermostat could cost $260, but it did. And that's because, unlike other ranges that have a central processing board to control all the electronics, this range has separate electronics that are associated with each of the various pieces. So there's electronics that go with the thermostat for the oven. That's the large oven. This is a 27-inch oven. And then behind me is a 12-inch oven. The 12-inch oven works fine. The broiler on the big oven works fine. So it's the thermostat, or at least that's what it looks like. You know, in order to replace this thermostat, I'm going to have to take a bunch of things apart. The real trick is I need to make sure that I move wires from one thermostat to the new thermostat one at a time so I don't screw it up. There's a couple of special screws in here. They're a specific length so that you don't deform this thermostat unit. If you do, it won't work right. And going through all the time and trouble to get a new thermostat, I want to make sure it continues to work. And well, there's more screws to pull out. The service manual doesn't cover all model years and all possible choices. This range has another shield that I need to remove. It's not described in the service manual, but such is life. I'm going to go ahead and go do that, and I'll bring you right back. We got the bracket out. When I say we, I mean we. I got two of the screws out. They're really stuck in there because the screws and the bracket have been heated up for 15 years and cooled off. And there's a little bit of surface rust on this piece. It's no big deal. But my arms were just about an inch too short, even crawling into this oven, to get that last screw out. Irene has a longer reach than I do. She was able to get it, and it popped right out. So that's done, and now I have to pull the old thermostat out and put the new one in. The old one's coming out kind of hard. I'm a little concerned because there's a capillary tube on this thermostat that I don't want to break. I don't want to kink it up, but it's going to have to do what it's going to have to do. What I'm doing right now is I'm getting ready to attach a piece of aluminum welding wire to the capillary tube that's in the old one. I'll attach it with some tape, hope it hangs in there, because it's going to be hard to get the new one in no matter what I do. Hey, Irene, could you grab a piece of twine for me? Not really big, it needs to be small to go through this hole. I'm going to put both this welding wire and the string through there, so I am pretty much assured of having something come through. That'll be fine. You let me have about 2 feet of it.
Okay. You have no perspective.
No, I don't. Thank you. And I've just put a little hook in the end of this aluminum welding wire. Hopefully that'll help hold it on to the capillary tube better. Now I have another mechanism to get the new capillary tube in. That is a piece of string. I'm hoping that both of these come through, but if it doesn't, hopefully at least one will get through. Well, here we go. It looks like I got both of the retrieval mechanisms through. Now there's one thing I hadn't counted on when I started doing this work, and that was a lot of the adhesive that's being used to hold wires in place has released from the stainless steel faceplate. So I'll have to come back in here later with some new tie downs so I can put tie wrap to move the wires back in place. Well, I'm going to finish taking this all apart and I'll get the new one started in and I'll bring you back. All right. My able assistant here.
Run away.
Screwdriver. Screw. Now, I need to get this. I think it's lined up now on either one.
Okay.
The two on the horizontal.
Okay. So like this one, for instance.
Yes.
I'm not going to be able to see. Let's get the crap out of the way so I can walk. And it's not doing anything, which means it's not catching a thread.
Let's get the other one.
I can drop it. There we go. Okay.
Okay, and
I did it finger tight, but not,
yep.
you know. I don't want to bust anything, as they say. But they are.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thanks very much.
Mm-hmm. Paul, if you need anything else.
I just need some luck.
Uh-huh. You were late like that?
No, I just need some luck because I now have to feed the new capillary tube down through the hole.
Okay, well, like I say, if you need help, I got hands.
It's really ironic because they said just put a 1-foot piece of string, but even 2-foot piece of string came out way too easily. Now I'm going to go ahead and fish this bulb and capillary tube back in place. It's going to take some time, so I'll bring you back when that's done. Well, one eternity later, several hours of messing around with this, I finally have the thermostat bulb through the skin of this stove. It's a real challenge. It took an awful lot of tries because it barely fits through. Now I just have to put the hanger back on it and attach that to the top of the range. And I just need to find it. There it is. Now this range was supposed to have a thermostat holder that has a couple of snaps to hold the thermostat in place, but it doesn't have that. One of the joys of fixing older things. Now I just have to tease this through the last hole. And there we go. Except I just put it on backwards. So we do this all over again. You know, one of the channels that we watch has a saying. They say, we do it nice because we do it twice. That's the way I'm feeling right about now. No point in you watching me mess around with this screwing it back into the roof of the oven. I'll bring you back when that's done, because then it's going to be time to clean a few things up on top. This range needs a good cleaning. Once you pull it out from the wall, there's a lot of things you can do that you can't do when it's in place. So, one of the things we'll be doing this weekend is cleaning up where we can't normally reach. Well, I have the range working. I have to put the door on it tomorrow, and I'll run the oven for 3 or 4 hours and make sure that it continues working the way it's supposed to. After a lot of work, the new thermostat's in. There were a lot of things that were different about the way this range was configured. That's not in the service manual. I've repaired one igniter that we had a problem with up here on the front. I have another one on the right hand side that I need to see if I can clean the contacts. And then I'll need to be replacing one valve. Not bad for 15 years. Bit of work. I really wish that I'd been able to get a service technician to come out. On the other hand, we've just saved probably $1,500. I think it's worth it. Better than having a range that isn't working at all. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out exactly what was going on with the range. It started off looking like it was the thermostat, which was a problem, but there was something else. And that was, there was an igniter in the oven which glows white hot. Well, it's supposed to glow white hot. Sometimes it doesn't. Well, when it wears out or it gets broken, it doesn't work. And that's what happened. I replaced both the thermostat and the igniter. It worked. It worked for the 4-hour pre-test. We cooked pies the day before Thanksgiving, and then the big test, Thanksgiving Day. A 22-pound turkey in the oven. Worked beautifully. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notification, because we have a lot more stuff going on. Hopefully it's going to be a lot more exciting. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hey, keep brainstorming. We do.